And another country has been dominating headlines in Europe. Italy has been at odds with EU over its draft budget, and opponents have slammed the government's hard stance on immigration. CGTN's Natalie Carney wraps up the political changes in the country in 2018.
Italy has traveled a bumpy road this year. General elections in March failed to produce a government. It wasn't until June that a coalition was formed between the populist Five Star Movement and the right-wing nationalist La Liga. These two anti-EU parties promised economic and immigration reforms.
Italy's new coalition government defined their first year in office with two major policy changes. The Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini's hard stance on immigration was at odds with the more liberal approach of past administrations. Then its first draft budget for 2019 very much cut against the grain of the European Union's fiscal policies, prompting concerns that Italy could be considering leaving the Eurozone.
While Rome promises to introduce new economic policies, the European Commission worries this will increase the country's deficit.
If we put together reduction in taxes and at the same time also this citizenship income, it means that you cannot really promise also to the European Commission to respect the rules. So there is a little bit of a trade-off between following the rules and sticking with the promises that the two parties have made to their own electorates.
However, after weeks of negotiations, Italy reduced its 2019 spending plan from 2.4% of GDP to about 2%, narrowly avoiding a mandate to correct an excessive deficit and potential heavy fines. Italy also revised its economic growth outlook down to 1%. Meanwhile, a change to the country's immigration policies brought it more in line with other right-leaning EU neighbors. In early December, a controversial new anti-migrant law said to bring security back to the country was passed by the Italian parliament, despite fierce criticism from opponents.
People who have no future, they come to Italy and they concentrate mostly in Rome, in Milan, in the big industrial centers. So even if there are just a few, they're much more visible. And they enhance the sense of the Italians. I am under trade by street criminals, and this is the sentiment of unsafety which is dominating the Italian political scene.
Yet some believe Italy's new populist direction could have far-reaching effects.
I think that what is happening in Italy is inevitably going to affect the entire architecture of the EU and of the euro. It's a reflection of the changing mood in continental Europe. And Italy is the one country in Europe where politics is no longer about right versus left, it is more these days about establishment versus anti-establishment.
And this could very well bring some more challenges to the European Commission through 2019. Natalie Carney, CGTN in Rome, Italy.